and in the audience, a young chef was giving me arguments, false one. So I was trying to answer. And I could not stop her. And finally, Jean-Pierre said, look, Hervé did tell you that. And immediately, the point was finished. It is incredible. I keep that in my mind. Another time with another chef, I was explaining when I invented chocolate chantilly. You know, chocolate chantilly is a chocolate mousse without eggs. I invented that in 1995. You will find that on the internet probably. And I was in a fair with a chef. The chef was in white with the coat, the talk, everything. I was explaining my invention. And indeed, they did not hear at me. They were looking at the chef. And the chef could not explain, of course, because it was a fresh invention. Nobody knew about that. So this is an important factor. They have an advantage over us. For you, I'm sure that these people in white are more important than I am. So, which is true, they are more important. So here is Jean-Pierre Lepelletier. Jean-Pierre Lepelletier is a former president of the International Toque Blanche Club, very good chef. I will not give more details about their affiliations because they are strange people. Pierre-Dominique Cessillon. Pierre-Dominique Cessillon, also a president of the Toque Blanche International Club. And Eric Sanchez is the current president of the International Club Toque Blanche. Okay. If you want to sit, so the program is the following. You know, always announce the program. I will explain for the M2 friends why we should do that, but it will be part of the course, and the other will not have it, except if they come to Paris next year. But so the question, have a seat. Okay. So the program is from 9 to 10. We explain about molecular gastronomy because I know that there is a lot of confusion with molecular cooking. Then we move at 10 o'clock for the contest. For molecular gastronomy, 9 to 10, we share the time with Roisin because indeed there is part of molecular gastronomy in Dublin for M1 FIBDES students this year, second semester. And then when you come back, if you come back, then you will have the privilege to have molecular gastronomy as well. I'm looking at Giulio because I have to say something. I'm very happy because this group of this year is so friendly that we can work I would say very efficiently. So yeah, you make a heart like this. Thank you, Giulio. But I see also Andrea. Okay. So now, just to explain. So the big issue is that most of you confuse molecular gastronomy and molecular cooking. So this is what I have to explain shortly. So it's clear now. Molecular and physical gastronomy is scientific activity. Okay. It's not cooking. I'm not a chef, otherwise I would be with a white coat. It is between two gods. Are there Greek people here in the court? No. There is Hermes, the god of good food, and Bacchus, the god of good food, and Hermes, the god of chemistry. Okay, so we are safe. Now, what is science doing? We will go into more detail in the course this year, but the goal of science is to look the mechanism of phenomena, for sure. And now we do that in a certain way. We have to measure everything. When we look at a phenomenon, we have to measure everything. And then we have to make experiments. So don't read the sentences. Never read something that is written on a screen because people cannot hear you if they read. And if they hear you, they cannot read. So this is not a text that you have to read. It is a picture. Only one sentence is important. To prefer experiment to any authority. So if a chef or if myself, we tell you something and you make an experiment and you see the contrary, the experiment is wrong, is right, and we are wrong. Okay. Now we have to calculate. This is the important part for this year. We will need to calculate. It's easy, by the way. It's very funny. It's like spinaches. You know, young people don't like spinaches. But after some time, with cream, with butter, they love spinaches. So calculation is like spinaches. Okay? So my goal for M2 is to put some cream so that you love spinaches. Okay? Now, the method of science of nature, you have a phenomenon, you make equations, you make a prediction, you test. I will be very fast of that. Molecular gastronomy we created when I was very young, 1988 with Nicolas Curti. And indeed, we should not confuse, this is important for FIBDES, because you are in a program which is called food innovation, which is not science, it's technology, and product design. And designing products, it's technology as well. It's not science. Yep. So the question is, why would you have science for technology? And the explanation is there. You have science, you have technique, you have food technology. Your goal is to look for science, to find new ideas, and you put them into practice. This is what you have to learn during these 2 years. If you are in, perhaps you know it already, and that's fine. But if you don't, if it is not clear, you have to recognize it. Now, molecular gastronomy is part of food sciences, of course, part of chemistry, part of physical chemistry, and their application. By the way, many of my inventions, because as a scientist, when you are a scientist, you're walking in a way, and suddenly on the road you find a big piece of gold. What do? You take it and you give it to the friends. So immediately when you make science, you find application, you find innovation. So you give them to cosmetics, pharmacy, and all the other. I have to be very fast. The phenomena that we study are in cooking. There are plenty of phenomena. For example, you see a smoke. Why a smoke? You see the slits. Why the slits? What does it mean in terms of flavor? The answer is, are you able to put some salt into meat when you grill it? I give you the question. Now it's turning brown. Why is it turning brown? Please forget about Maillard. Maillard did not do anything. I have a scientific paper demonstrated it. It was discovered by Lucien Dussart 1/2 of a century before Maillard. So never write Maillard reaction. Never do that. You can write Dussart reaction or aminocarbonyl or glycation. It is international rule. I will have time to explain later. But, so you see a lot of phenomena. A soufflé, by the way, a soufflé is a very expensive product in terms of energy, because remember that today the topic is energy for the contest. For soufflé, you have to cook it for about 1 hour, 30 minutes, between 30 and 1 hour. And now, for you, I will make a soufflé in, let's say, the cooking time, 20 seconds. So let's use water. Okay. Can a chef help me, please? Oh, Jean-Pierre, thank you very much. So this is water, okay? I give him a whisk. Not the one he's used to use usually, but anyway, don't worry. So this is the equivalent of water for an egg white. We are going to put some egg white. In an egg white, you have 40 grams of water, 4 grams of proteins. So these are proteins, okay? Okay, these are the proteins, very good. If you can, so we mix the protein with water, okay? Now, the question of, in food, people love fat and sugar. So we are going to add the fat. You can whisk. Of course, the whisk is dividing the oil into 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, so it makes an emulsion. More, sure. Yes, more, because I can make 60 liters of mayonnaise with 1 egg yolk. So we are adding more, for sure. We are giving him time to whip very efficiently, because you divide more the oil droplets. Okay, so we are making a very good emulsion. By the way, in the old culinary textbook, it is said you cannot make a mayonnaise if you have the slightest trace of egg white. But this is pure egg white, which means what was written in culinary book was wrong. 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 Okay? So adding more oil. So you know it's becoming creamy. And there are many interesting questions. Why does it become harder when you whip more? I give you the... So now we have to add... So always in a dessert you have to put some salt, you have to put some sugar. I don't have sugar, so anyway. There is a rule by the famous chef Emile Young. When you cook, always 1 part of violence, 3 parts of strength, 9 parts of sweetness. So we are adding the violence. It is tartric acid. Because I have a small cold, I will add some ascorbic acid because I need some vitamins. Okay, some vitamins. They are soluble into. Oh no, it's beta carotene. Anyway, it will cure me anyway. I need because it's the spring, and the spring is a beautiful season. I need some color, so perhaps. I will add some color. No, not this way. You know, spring, the color of spring, of the calendar of hope is green. So this is green. Huh? By the way, there are chlorophylls. Very good. Here they are. And it is green. So now we have the taste, we have the odor. Not the odor, but the odor. We have the pleasure to have here Dao Nguyen. Dao, can you wave, please? And Pasquale. Dao is a professor of biochemistry, and Pasquale Altomonte is a chef. He was even at the Bocuse, so you know this guy, again, he's not in white today, but anyway. And they sell some odorant compounds. We should make it better. Okay, so now, Jean-Pierre, can you put some of it, 2/3 of the glass? Very good. Now, what are we doing? We are going to cook. But we are going to cook with as few energy as possible because it is the contest for this year. So let's use a microwave oven because in a microwave oven, the energy efficiency is 80% compared to a stove, which is 20%, which is crazy. Stove should be forbidden. We have to use, and now we put that 2/3, please. You know, we have to be generous with our friends. Thank you very much. Okay, very good. And now we cook 20 seconds. I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It swells, it expands already, which means that the temperature is 100 Celsius. At 100 Celsius, water evaporates. If water evaporates, it takes a lot of space. And now, whoa, stop, please. Here it is, the soufflé in 20 seconds. I was not lying. So you see, this is using energy correctly. At the same time, we made note-by-note cooking, synthetic cooking. No plant tissue, no meat, no fish, no egg. You know, the eggs were broken in my bag this morning when I came, but fortunately, I have these proteins. With this, I could make an omelette probably for 1,000 people. You see, this is a different relationship with food. So we can applaud, of course, Jean-Pierre. Merci, Jean-Pierre. Now, we come back to the picture. Of course, if you are a scientist or a technologist, you need to go to mechanism. And then there are technical applications of molecular gastronomy. So remember this picture. And in 2001, I invented a device. This is a prototype. But here it is. From a formula, we made a dish with a machine. So this one is the first dish of the history of cooking, predicted by a formula and made by the machine. So it was shown in a share for cocktails. There are billions of possibilities. So you see, innovation is very easy in a way. Okay? It's another question with formula. You can make millions of infinite. No. Can you make a product. So, you know, some products, the flavor is, you know, immediately you get the flavor. For other products, the flavor comes slowly and lasts more. For example, when you make a pesto with mortar and pestle, it is this result. When you make a pesto with a mixer, you have the first one. If you mix the two, you have the big increase, and then it lasts long. But can you make a product for which there would be one flavor, it would be disappearing, then another flavor, then a third one? Okay. And the answer is yes, we did it in Denmark. Here it is. It was done with chef. It was a collaboration with chef and PhD scientists in chemistry in Aarhus, in the north of Denmark. So you see, the possibilities of note by note are incredible. Molecular cooking, forget it. It's an old story. Liquid nitrogen, okay, you will play with that in Dublin probably. New tools, nowadays they are not new any longer. In 2001, the chefs were having thermocirculators. Today, it's in all kitchen. At that time, only Ferran Adria had it, or Rubenthal. So invention. I will not go into details. So these are inventions that I made, and Pierre Gagnère, Chef Pierre Gagnère, used them. Wind crystals, I love wind crystal, by the way. Pierre as well. Gibbs. Remember the thermodynamic equation, G equal H minus Ts. This is the Gibbs. At the beginning, the title of the dish was G equal H minus Ts. But on the menu, it was not chocolate chantilly, very old thing, and many others. So note-by-note cooking, much more exciting. It is the topic of today. And the idea is you don't use fish, you don't need a fridge. A fridge consuming a lot of energy. You don't have a fridge, you don't have fish, you don't have meat, you don't have products that can spoil with contamination. You have the compounds, pure, very clean, very safe, and now you build food. So this is important, probably in the future. So the kitchen. Huh? So there were many examples. I will be very fast over the last year. This was Potel et Chabot, le Cordon Bleu, Montréal, Denmark, Cordon Bleu again. This is an artificial sushi, no fish, no rice. It was a made sushi. Poland, Athens, very good dinner. Singapore, again, very good dinner. And now the best ally of all that is 3D food printing, or 3D or 4D or 6D or 5D. And we have an open journal for that. It's free, it's open. The FIBDA students, Master 2, in the evaluation of the module Molecular Gastronomy means the production of a mini review that will be published in the journal, so that on their CV, they will have an advantage to all others. They will have a line publication of a mini review. This is very important for you, I would say. You will have a line on your CV, and this line, it is an open journal, but it is double anonymous evaluation. It is open, it is free. It is very strict, and okay. And finally, I stop here. Of course, I'm saying that chemistry is the best part of the world because it's true. Perhaps cooking is good as well, but we cannot make chemistry without cooking because we need to survive. But I could not survive without chemistry, for sure. So now, Roisin has to explain how she's doing. We have to be very careful about this system because does someone know how to share the screen completely?
No, that's the wrong one.
Here it is.
No, that's.
Sorry. The right corner, okay. This one? Ah, this one, diaporama.
But that's the wrong presentation.
Is it the wrong presentation? Ah, yes, it's not yours. Where are you? Is it a
It's in the list, wherever it is.
So, unplug CNN title, one creative note by note, unplug and very strange, I don't see it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This one?
Yeah, perfect.
This one?
Yeah.
And then I go here.
Yeah, that's it.
Hang on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Hervé. So I'm just going to talk about the module in Dublin where you're coming in January. These guys have already been there, so they can give you some advice, I'm sure, if you talk to them nicely. So let's see what we're going to be doing. Yeah, so these are the topics we're going to cover. Gelling emulsions, precisions, foams, heat transfer, freezing, 3D printing, and note by note. So I hope you're taking in all this information on note by note because that's the assignment for the module in Dublin. Okay, so and as we see the finalists, some of them over here, and we've somebody else from Dublin joining later on. So we're actually going to think of the topic for you for all the people next year when we're waiting for the jury to give the results. Can everybody understand my accent, by the way? Because
and we can add that when you make your note-by-note project, then it will be part of the next year contest, and there will be a pre-selection of 5, and the winners will be invited to publish in the journal their recipe. So another line.
Exactly. And we'll talk about the note by note shortly and how to think up recipes and so on. Okay, so as you see, we worked in groups of 3 last year with this cohort 12, isn't it? I get the cohorts mixed up to cohort 12. And we had 3 students who did a mini literature review. And what else did you do? Presentation, wasn't it? On the topic. And what we try to do is link these topics to the kitchen. So there will be chefs everywhere in Dublin. Everywhere. There are chefs all around the place. So you can ask them. They're very helpful and they have lots of ideas. So these are the topics. So you'll do presentation and a literature review. We have recipes then, and we link the recipes when we go down to the kitchen and we see what's happening in this recipe with gelling, etc. Okay, so let's have a look. So these are some of the emulsions. So we're making plant-based emulsions from carrots and courgettes and onions and what do you call them, Hervé? An onion oli? Olies, like aioli. Aioli for garlic and onion.
I would say differently. When you make an aioli, you have garlic and you crush it with oil. In 1987, I asked myself, what about onion or shallots or something? So I made an onion oli, so you crush onion with oil. But when you think about that, it was silly because in any plant tissue or meat or fish, you have water. You have the phospholipids of the protein. So if you take some fish, you grind it with oil, and you make an emulsion, a fish oli. So you can make everything oli. It's a joke for French people because oli means in the bed.
Okay, so you learn something new every day. Okay, and what was this? Oh yes, we were just. Was that the gel? Oh no, foams. This is a foam. So we have our cocktails making foams during the class, different types of things. Okay, so we use a fish tank pump to create the small bubbles and add some ingredients to keep the foam from collapsing. Okay, so they're the kind of things we're doing. Now precisions. Has anybody heard of precisions? Okay. You have. What do you think a precision is? Anybody? Jana, you can maybe tell us.
Tell us the worst that you can find.
Her memory is gone.
The worst culinary precision is the French one. It is said that when women have their period, the mayonnaise fails. Yes, it is written in book. Huh? Yeah. And I made the experiment. It's not true.
Okay, yes. Okay, so actually you...
Making mayonnaise with a slight trace of egg white. It's a culinary precision as well.
Yeah, so what you will do in Dublin is you pick a recipe you want to test and see if it's true or not. We'll explain everything when you're in Dublin. So you pick a recipe and you can test it in the kitchen.
And then in Master 2, because first Master 1 is practice and Master 2 is more theory, because you need the theory in order to go to the industry. Master 2, the mini reviews are based on the culinary precision. But now we decided something different. Instead of taking the precision from Master 1, you can decide for a second one that will be more in line with your own idea of your career. For example, if you want to go to dairy products, then you choose culinary precision on dairy and you make just a mini review on that. So don't make the experiment. Of course, by the way, we could make experiment if you need, we can, but it's a loss of time and you did it already. Sorry.
Okay. So, could be like some recipes say to add a quarter of a spoon of tartaric acid to egg whites to make them foam better. So then you could test that with tartaric acid, lemon juice, something with acid, and then just see which are the best. And is it true? Is that true or not? Okay, so we have a class on that, and then when you go to France, you will do a mini review for that. Actually, one of the cohort 12 wrote up her precision as a paper, and we've submitted it to the journal. So if you have a really good one, you could put it in the journal as well. Then we look at sous vide cooking for heat transfer, and just there's an example of some eggs all cooked for 10 minutes at different temperatures. So we have a lot of this type of equipment in TU Dublin for water baths and circulatory pumps and so on. So we can test the different temperatures, different times for cooking. And then you get a lovely lunch before you leave with delicious food, the best tasting, it's delicious. So,
by the way, there are two remarks. The first one is, I said to Roshin, you have the floor now, and I'm taking the microphone any second. But, so I apologize, but it's in view of explaining better. The second observation is that it has to be different in Dublin, in molecular gastronomy, and of course in Paris. So it is different. Giulio, can you confirm that it is different what we are doing now and what we did? Yeah, it's different. Okay, thank you. and we have to keep that in mind so that we can make it different.
yeah, for sure. So, yes, then we look at the other extreme of liquid nitrogen, and we make various recipes. Does that? So we were just doing ice creams and various things. Yeah.
We have chef. Can one chef say something about liquid nitrogen? Your perception, very shortly. Liquid nitrogen in the kitchen.
Shortly?
Shortly, briefly.
Okay. The ice cream in azote liquid.
No, but your perception of using it in the kitchen.
The perception.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it important? Is it good?
Yes. For me, the flavor. The flavor, the first is the flavor. After the sugar, but because too much sugar for me it explodes. No, it's not good.
Which means
Not
that we
to-
can reduce the sugar.
Yes, sure. But it's not possible too much reduce because it's not good because it's not possible. Possibility. Oh, just oh, meow, meow, meow.
Let's go to the lab.
Yeah. For the test of the phrasing the ice cream. For me, the flavor, the flavor and small sugar, and and texture, and the texture is very big. For me, it's in the because the texture is imagine after the flour texture, flour, sugar, texture. But texture for me, it's the first.
You see, when you will make the experiment, remember what he said, you will have to survey what you are feeling in terms of texture, flavor, and sugar. Okay, very good. By the way, we can make an ice cream or liquid nitrogen sherbet without sugar. Huh?
Yeah, because the ice crystals are much smaller. It's very smooth. The texture, it's much more superior to the commercial ice cream. So we'll have a taste of that. And then we'll dip our toe into 3D food printing. We made some mini lobster last time. Then, yeah, we might have a look at 4D printing. I'm playing around with that in my head at this time. But we have a workshop next summer on food printing, and we're looking at 4D printing, wasn't it? 3D and 4D.
The 14th and the 15th of May next year, here we will have a workshop, 2 days, on texture of food, including 3D printing and 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and also the DSF, which are the formula. Because if you have the formula, you predict a product, and you use the 3D printing to make it. So you see, everything is linked. So, I mean, we need the two, the Dublin plus the Paris to finish the job anyway. Or to begin the job, because then you go into the industry and you are making the job really.
And actually, 3D printing is amazing for giving structure for note-by-note cooking. So it really, you know, the two work very well together, I think, 3D printing and note-by-note. So we can play around with that. Now we have Dow Pascale who actually produced these blue bottles. So maybe you can tell us a bit. You're the expert on the blue bottles.
Just to show them, you will receive the program probably. They will show something more in detail later.
Yeah. Do you want the microphone?
Yeah. They are both running Kitchen Lab, and they are making these products. They are quite cheap, and they are wonderful. But I'm just showing the kind of bottle, but we are discussing later. So thank you very much. Yeah. So, by the way, congratulations to both of them to push it. And congratulations to Saclay, because he used it in Bocuse.
So each of these blue bottles has a pure flavor compound, one single flavor compound. So this is, sorry, odorant. Well, we have the list here. We see banana, cucumber, flower, etc. So these are available for you in Dublin for your note-by-note. We also have in our storeroom these various compounds. Some of them are mixed, some of them are pure compounds. So they're available for you as well for your note-by-note assignment. Okay. So you will build a food, make a food, using these and using the equipment in Dublin. We're kind of urging you, can we move away from gels? Because we're doing this for 12 years and we have gels coming out our ears. So can we make it a bit more complex, is what I'm asking.
But what Roshin is asking is impossible. Because, I will consider the president of the Association of Toque Blanche. The president is a gel. because the definition by UPAC, the International Union on Pure and Applied Chemistry of a gel, means a liquid trapped into a solid. Okay? And the human body is made of 70% water, which is liquid, 20% proteins, remember the proteins, and 10% fat. So myself, Roisin as well, or you, we are 70%, 20% not fat. So you see, and this is the definition of a gel. So all meat are gels, all fish are gel, all plant, vegetable, tomato, lettuce, and so on are gels. So I don't see how it would be possible to make a note-by-note dish without being a gel, except that it can be a foamy gel, or an emulsified gel, or a suspended gel, or a foamy suspended emulsified something gel, or a gel into a gel. And then it's incredible because we have millions of possibilities, and chemistry is beautiful.
And that's exactly what I mean. We just don't want a plain gel. We want something a bit more complex. So, now recently we have purchased some equipment for the kitchen. So we have rotary evaporator centrifuge, and these are there for you to use. Over on this side is a recipe by the chef Heston Blumenthal from the UK, and he uses these type of equipment in his kitchens there. Okay, so you can think about all these things. So we have the odorants, we have the compounds, we have the equipment, and your job is to think of something based on the theme from. We're going to pick a theme today, so you can already start thinking about a dish. Now, have you any advice for them on how to get a recipe together? Where did you get your recipe ideas from? TikTok, okay, TikTok, no. Very good advice. Okay.
Imagine, Roisin, that I would be a student. You know, when I was a student in my chemistry school, I was on top participating on a chemistry club. Okay. So there were no professors. We were alone with chemistry. We could make explosions, distillation, everything. Never say that to others. But is it possible for them to go after the class when they want and make experiment or not today?
We would have to discuss with our management.
Okay. No, but it's interesting to be able to. Okay, well, a student club.
Yeah, well, let's see what we can do. Some other advice for you for recipes are to look in Hervé's book, Note by the Future of Food, Note by Note Cooking. So that's one. There's recipes in the back of that. There's the Handbook of Molecular Gastronomy that we co-edited with 2 other colleagues, and there's a recipe section in the back. You're lucky because the International Journal of Molecular Gastronomy, if you go online into the website, there are recipes. The group that are graduating today, one of them was the winner 2 years ago, and she published her recipe in the journal, the International Journal. So her recipe is there. Okay.
And as well, on the International Center of Molecular Gastronomy, you have a special section for note-by-note cooking with many recipes. And I'm happy to celebrate today Jean-Pierre and Pierre-Dominique because they were among the very first chefs to test not by not cooking. With the Toque Blanche, we had an event in a big hotel in Paris. We are 3 events or 4 events, and the recipes are given as well. So they were among the first chefs in the world to make it. So Pierre Gagnère was the real first to publish a dish, to produce a dish. It was in Hong Kong. It took me 6 months to build the dish with him, but it was a big event. But immediately after, I remember, Jean-Pierre, you organized a class for chef at the Toque Blanche club or event in the night. It was in the night, in hotel, a very small group. Some chefs from the Toque Blanche were very active and very willing to discover this new thing. So this is why I'm so happy to have my friends today, because they are always positive, trying new things. And recently, you don't know that, but I spoke with Jean-Pierre about the 3D not printing, and immediately he said, for the Journal of the Toque Blanche, can you make an article explaining what it is? And then, can we come to the workshop in May? So you see, this is openness. Instead of saying, I don't want to hear about that. I'm roasting chicken, and I want to make Irish stew. No, he is willing to open and discover new things. I don't know what he's going to do with that after, except showing the way to the young people, and that's the best way. And Pierre-Dominique as well. We did many things together. Not with you, Eric. We have 2 now. Huh? We have to develop.
Next. Looking forward to that. That should be really good. I was going to say, okay. Yeah, so please start thinking about this, because when you get to Dublin, you'll find time goes very fast, and you have to have your ideas already in your head. Okay, so we've given you a lot of tips there, how to get together a recipe and so on. So that is me, I think. I think I'm finished. Anybody questions? Clear enough? This one? That's for the centrifuge. Yeah, centrifuge. So we were using that. Yeah, so then...
And then because we have time before 9, it's not 9 already, we can exceptionally have a break. So I'm saying that to the students, because we make classes and we didn't remember that we had to stop. So we have to stop for 5 minutes to be ready. So now the 5 pre-selected competitors have to be ready to the story will be that they will have to present. The contest is on energy. The topic for this year is on energy. I'm not sure that it is the best choice that we could have made, but anyway, it was a common decision last year. Personally, I'm pushing for next year's contest on oysters and mussels, but nobody wants this topic. So, yeah, why not? You know, oyster, it's incredible, an oyster. So, how to make the consistency like an oyster, or even better, because the goal is not to reproduce. So, keep it. So, and Yolanda. So Yolanda, can you come? We have here the 3 organizers of this contest for now 12 years. Yolanda Rigaud, biochemist. Rochine, you know her. Hervé, you know me. So the organization, I would say, is we have a jury. The jury are chefs. We have our partners. Is Kelly today here? Kelly? Hello, Kelly. No, not Kelly.
Yes,
she's online, okay. So Kelly is from the company Louis François, and Louis François is a partner of the contest. She will offer prizes, okay? She will send them later. She told me they will... No. Yes, you can come, but probably she will, because Sandrine Copperin could not come. But I have messages. They will send by post the prize. Okay. So we have Dao Nguyen and Pasquale Altomonte, which are partners with a Kitchen Lab company. You can find it online. I sent before a small flyer about their activities. They should send me any weekend an email explaining a new product that I would distribute. I don't get any money personally from that, so I'm very safe about promoting Not by Not Cooking because I don't get any euro from it, any dollar, zero. So you can trust me. And we have the chef. So the idea is we have a topic. Anyone in the world can participate. For example, the FIPD students this year are not the only one because we have people outside. We have to choose the topic correctly. Perhaps your feedback will be helpful in M2. Was the topic well chosen or not? Could we choose differently? Please be there at the choice that we are going to make. This is important. Of course, you can participate to the choice as well. Huh? I would say that anyone can participate to the choice. Can make proposal, and then for next year we have a new topic. So, of course, the FIPD students have an advantage because they will be trained in Dublin with that, contrary to others. But anyone can participate. Rohit, I never remember his name. Rohit is an Indian student from cohort 3. Rohit is a very good friend of mine. Rohit participated twice at the contest. He won with a very intelligent dish. So this is a game, okay? So now we take a small break, do we? Yeah. Okay, a small break, 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we come back and we begin the presentation. Thank you. We have to begin. Yolanda will come, hopefully. So now we know the rule. There will be 5 pre-selected competitors. So the agenda was, in Dublin, you work to create a note-by-note recipe. Generally, it is a report that you make for Roshin. I don't have anything to say because it's done in Dublin. But as far as I can see, you have classes, you can experiment. Then you make the final dish. You take picture, very important. By the way, beautiful pictures are useful because in the end, when you will be selected, you have to show beautiful picture. Otherwise, if you show some diagrams, it's not the same level of convincing people. So pictures are very important. The sight of a dish is very important. I hate that personally because I say that cooking is culinary art, and culinary art should be the beautiful to eat, not the beautiful to see. But anyway, human persons want to see something. So if it is beautiful to see, so much the better. So you take pictures, you make the dish. Finally, you make a report. So probably they are evaluated on the report, aren't they? They are evaluated on the report. So make a very long report. Generally, the professors, when you have a long text with many references, when she's very boring, they are happy and they make a good mark. So make a very, very long description. Of course, you should not dilute. But give detailed information. It's better. It's better for you. It's better for anyone. And finally, in May or June or July, I don't remember, it is sent to the center. We receive it, and we have too many, so we have to make a pre-selection. So the pre-selection was the following. I sent all the presentation, the report to the chef plus the partner, Dao, Pasquale, Sandrine, Yolanda, and so on. And then it was asked them to say, can you rank the 5 best ones in your ID? It is a very difficult question because personally, when I did it, I made a table on my computer. I put slots, columns. The first one was a name. The second one, the title of the dish. The third one was some description. And finally, an appreciation. And I decided to put in bold when it was especially good in my taste, because my taste is different from the taste of chef. We know that from previous year. They focus on flavor, for sure. Huh? When you evaluate, you focus on flavor. They know how to imagine the flavor of a dish. So this is their skill. For me, when I see many gels of the same kind, I say, wow, it's not very original. But in the criteria of the contest, we have the respect of the topic, plus be as close to pure note by note. I explain. You see, these are proteins. It's a mixture of proteins. So it's not one pure compound, because it's a mixture of compounds. In egg white, in one egg white, you have about 300 different proteins. So here, it's a mixture of 300. So when you will cook with that, it's not pure note by note. It's not using one compound in particular. But it is practical note by note. And indeed, we don't care, because for the future of humankind, we have to cook. And we have to cook practically. It would be useless to use. So this is what I said to Julio when we discussed. So be close to the topic. Make the purest note by note that you can. What did we say as well? And convince us that your proposal is the best. Okay? So now we can begin with 5. So how many times do they have to present? 10 minutes, plus questions. So be ready to ask them questions. 10 minutes exactly. But the FIBDA students know very well that how to be in the exact time, because they are trained for that. So Julio, your name is Julio Alberto Garcia Dominguez. And here is the proposal by, is it this?
Yes, it is that one. But I don't know.
That one? Plein écran, okay. And the floor is yours.
Merci. Well, yeah, actually, that's a good advice to take pictures. I know it's hard because you have your hands on, busy, but maybe you can arrange with some partner or peer to take pictures of you while you're cooking, and then you do the opposite. But yeah, keep that in mind because I kind of struggle a little bit. That's why you're going to see a lot of schemes around my presentation, but yeah. So you tell me when. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I really enjoyed this process of creating this dish. My name is Julio Garcia Dominguez. I'm from Mexico, and the name of my dish is light dessert. So let's take a look at the agenda. So basically, we'll go through the objectives, my creative process, the dish concept, materials and methods, the results, analysis, conclusion, and some time for questions. So basically, as Hervé said, this year we were challenged with 5 objectives, one of them being the main issue of reducing energy to produce food. Then also you have to use pure compounds as possible, and using both of these techniques in order to create a dish that tastes good, was original, and was healthy at the same time. So I went through my creative process. I like to sketch, so I tried to come up with an idea for a dish that had some interesting flavors, texture, and shapes, but I couldn't get anything that really matched with me, with what I wanted. And one day, while we were traveling through Ireland, we were on our way to Kerry, and I saw this, and it literally enlightened me. Well, you might not tell what I saw here, so here's what I saw. I saw all the elements. I saw the air, I saw the sun, I saw the earth, I saw water. So what does these represent to me? Well, these represent to me sources of energy that are renewable. So we have to focus on this in order to attack the issue of food production. And this is my dish. Well, at least the preliminary part of it. And from here, you might not get to understand what everyone means, but I'll explain now. These are the dish elements. So I wanted to represent each of the energy sources as a part of my dish. So this is what I came with. I came with the clouds, the sun rays, the water, the soil, and mud. And for the clouds, I will be using vanilla marshmallow, because everyone loves marshmallows. Sun rays, I will use caramel sticks, because everyone loves caramel sticks. And for water, I was using passion fruit gel, because I like passion fruit. And for the soil, this one is a little bit tricky for celiacs, because this is the opposite to what they should have, so sorry for them. But for me, I needed to use a gluten-full cocoa biscuit, because we cannot use bread, we cannot use regular flour. So what we had to use was gluten and starch, and everyone loves chocolate, I hope. And for mud, why mud? Because Hervé already said that we need 1 part of roughness, 3 parts of violence, yeah, 3 parts of strength, and 9 parts of kindness. Okay, so for me, the violence was in the mud. For me, it was really exciting and innovative to taste something that was resembling dirt, and actually it tastes like dirt. So that's what I wanted to represent here. And for the strength, I needed something that cracked, because as you can tell, all of the ingredients or components of my dish are pretty soft, and I don't like that. I need some texture to grab. So that's why I came up with the biscuit. Here's a look at my ingredients. I will just provide the percentages by weight. I can discuss with you later on the recipe if you want. And as you can tell, I try to use as close as possible the main compounds, but again, functional compounds. About the process, so I have 5 elements, so I could spend 20 minutes talking about the different processes, but I wanted to focus on this one. It's really interesting for me, because I was looking for a way to get something crunchy, as I said, or some texture, some kickback from all the soft things. And this was the easier way I found to create some texture while actually saving energy. And I got to get, as I explained, this cocoa biscuit. And I found in literature, actually, that microwave energy offers savers in labor, processing time, and space in bread making. So the process for this dough ball was actually weighting the materials, mixing them, kneading them to form the gluten networks, and then baking in the microwave. And it's funny because a lot of papers that I found said that, for example, these characteristics are not desired in bread making by microwave, but for me it was, because as you can see, the reasons for firm texture in microwave baked breads were high moisture loss, interaction of microwave gluten, anyway, science. But basically what's happening here, so you have the gluten network, you have that hydrated, then you put it in the microwave, as Sve did with the souffle, and then the water starts to evaporate, but the gluten network traps that air that's evaporating inside. So it, at the same time it's baking and it's drying, it's also growing. So that's how we get this really interesting texture of the biscuit, but it's also hollow at the same time, which allow me to fill it with the foam and with the gel. So this is what my final dish looks like. I know it's a little bit weird, but it's as good as I can get. And you were wondering, where are the other elements? Well, here they are. So if you close a little bit your eyes and have a little bit of imagination, you could tell that this is what I saw the other day in Kerry. So you have the clouds, you have the sun rays, you have the earth, you have the foam, and you have the gel. And for me, it tastes really good. But as you know, you shouldn't trust yourself. It's like trusting that you're beautiful based on what your mom says. You have to ask somebody else. So that's what I did. I have to analyze my results. So for this, I ran a sensor analysis panel. I divided some samples for the panelists, like bite size, because I know when we're trying to eat this, it might be a little bit hard to get a bite. So what I did, I prepared individual samples for them, and then the panelists were assessed about the dish overall appearance, their taste, originality, liking, and compliance with the competition guidelines. And the results were mainly that 80% of the panelists declared that they liked the dish very much, and 40% only liked slightly. So for my conclusions, the aim of this project was achieved, as I successfully created a dish that considers the issue of reducing energy used to produce food, and is as close as possible to pure node-by-node cooking by using mainly pure compounds, and at the same time is original and tastes good. Thank you very much. Gracias, merci, thank you. For those of you looking at me through the Zoom, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Julio. Exactly 10 minutes. You know, I told you before that the students of Node by Node Master are, well, the skill of communication as well as and producing good food. Any question from the jury first? Or anyone? Yes?
Number 14. Yeah, I really, when Roisin showed us what she had in the lab, I went through all the scents and I found this. And this smell is one that I really personally love.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that it's too
Earth.
chemical. So what do the panel say? Is edible, is okay? Or it's like it's chemical and it's not okay?
Well, they said that it was okay. I mean, it was in the kitchen, so I hope it was okay. But I got a lot of feedback that people didn't like it as much because it tastes like dirt. But I mean, it's totally safe because it has zero microbes.
By the way, for those who don't know the product, there is one which is one cis-hexanol, which is very herbal, like when you cut grass, very fresh. And the other is rain. The one is like, you know, in the summer when you have the soil with earth and grass, and it was very hot, and suddenly there is some rain, and immediately after sun again, and you have this wonderful smell. For sure, it's typical. It's not chemical. It is very natural odor, by the way. So it is incredible. This product is incredible. By the way, I use it in my kitchen very frequently. This is one of the 2 or 3 that I'm using, not daily, but very frequently. Any other question? No? Yolanda? Yeah, Jean-Pierre? To make it or to prepare? To make it practically?
Practically.
Okay.
And the second question One life experience. So for this, so for those of you on the Zoom, he asked about how much time I use for preparing the dish, like in the kitchen, and how much I work for designing this dish. The first question, I would say we had 2 or 3 hours. 3 hours actually. In Dublin, we had a final class when we had to prepare this dish. So basically it took 3 hours, but there were some parts of the dish that I previously made, such as the gel. The foam has to be done in the moment because either way it will go down. But I would say 3 hours was okay because I was also experimenting, so it was really fairly quick. And about the design, I would say maybe like a week, because as you could tell, I was sketching and thinking about some textures, but I also had to take a look at the flavors that we had available at the university. So as I said to the new cohort, you have to design what you want to achieve. For me, it's first the shape and the textures, and then I had to take a look at what we had available and see how we could find like a good balance between flavors. So I had a lot of sugar, I put a little bit of acidity, and then I also had to add something to contrast with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just one short explanation about, at the Cordon Bleu School, Eric Briffard, the chef of the Cordon Bleu, cannot come today because there are problems at the Cordon Bleu. But, at the Cordon Bleu, they train the students that are really chefs at the Cordon Bleu. They are professional. And last year, one lady, they had a course, just a short presentation, then they had 2-hour classes, and she made a jus de bœuf, cheek of beef, plus sauce, plus French fries, and entirely synthetic in 2 hours. So it was a professional dish. So, in the old time, it took us days to make it. Now it's very, very short, thanks to Kitchen Lab who furnish the produce. So we have immediately the odorant produce plus others, thanks to Louis-François, and it's much more easier now. Okay, we invite now Charlotte Delattre. I guess that you are French, are you? Not Canadian, French. So Charlotte Delattre, here it is. So you are Master 2 FIBDES, sorry? You are going to Lund or to Italy or to France? Italy? Yeah. Why? No. Italy, she will eat pizza, so... plein écran. So the rule, 10 minutes exactly. Do your best, demonstrate us that your result is the best one.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Charlotte, and I'm honored to present my dish for this year's contest. This is the unplugged apple pie, and it's kind of a metaphorical reinterpretation of the apple pie that depicts the solar and the wind energy while using as less energy as possible. So during the next 10 minutes, I will walk you through my inspiration, my ingredients, methods, and also why each of the elements you see follow this year's theme. So my inspiration comes from the comforting memory of a baked apple pie that is both nostalgic and universally loved, and you can find reinterpretation of apple pie in a lot of countries in terms of taste, but also texture. And so the main challenge was to keep this familiarity while adhering to the concept of note by note. And this year's theme was the energy. So I wanted to use as less energy as possible because the main problem with the baked apple pie is that oven take a lot of energy. So I wanted to use no oven, no long cooking time, and so I prefer to use minimal heat, such as if I wanted to melt something, bain-marie, and I wanted to shorten the list of ingredients. So for my material, to create this dish, I used both energy-consuming and non-energy consuming tool. My main energy consuming tool were a stand mixer, immersion blender, fridge, and a gas cooker, and I will show it later, but all of this tool use less energy than a typical oven. So here is my dish. As you can see, there is 5 elements. So in the center, the round shape is composed of pudding and isomalt dome, and is supposed to represent the solar energy, while the outer layer is composed of a crème anglaise, a crumble, and a foam, and it's a kind of a flowy shape. And I choose the solar energy and the wind energy because when we think about installation, solar panel and wind turbine use less setting, and so the modification of the environment is less impactful than, for example, hydropower energy. And so to deep down in the ingredients, my crème anglaise and my pudding, I will explain it later, but I choose to use one same batch of ingredients. So for this, I recreated a nut-by-nut milk using typical ingredients of milk, so casein powder, whey, and lactose. And to do the emulsification process, I used rapeseed oil and water, of course. And for the thickeners and the stabilizer, I choose to use the synergetic of cornstarch and kappa-carrageenan. For my crumble, I used oily parts, and I used cocoa butter and olive oil. And I choose this because I wanted fatty parts with like many saturated acid and many unsaturated fatty acids to have like at the same time the soft texture and a good mouthfeel coming from the cocoa butter and the olive oil that brings like some flavor, interesting flavor. For the foam, also I will expand a bit after. I use the combination of gelatin and xanthan gum, and it brings special characteristics that are interesting in terms of elasticity and airiness. And for the isomalt dome, of course, I used mainly isomalt. And concerning the taste, I wanted to follow something really familiar, so I wanted to depict the taste of kind of an apple pie. So I used vanilla aroma, caramel, and apple pie aroma that was available. And here is why I choose those elements. So for the kind of duo, kind of pair crème anglaise pudding, I wanted to have the same batch of ingredients and to prove, to show the transformative power of temperature, which means that from a same batch, I created my crème anglaise, and then I let it set in the fridge for 30 minutes, and I was able to obtain this pudding. So from the same ingredients, you can obtain different products, different texture. And for example, this pudding was depicting the texture of the soft baked apple. But of course, I wanted to have a different texture and a panel of different texture. So I needed crunchy, but also sandy, kind of sandy texture that you can find in the crust of apple pie. So I created this crumble. And the main challenge is that without heat, without oven, you cannot have a sugar caramelization. So Maya reaction that we don't call this. Not this one. And so also other chemical reactions such as starch gelatinization and water evaporation. So one of the solutions was to use maltodextrin. And this maltodextrin, I use it with the fatty parts. And so I was able to have a sandy texture. So that was one of the interesting texture, but it was not crunchy. So to have this crunchiness, I used the isomalt dome. And as you can see, it's not plain, it's kind of a line. So with your spoon, you can crack it. And in the plate, you will have a little brittle of crunchiness. So that was really interesting in terms of combination of the textures. And here is briefly like the method I use. So for the crème anglaise and pudding, I mainly do a milk, like with emulsification process and the typical ingredient I mentioned before. And for the jellification, I kept a part, that was my crème anglaise, at room temperature. And I put the other part in the fridge for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, I was obtaining 2 ingredients from the same batch of ingredients. Concerning the foam, I used gelatin and xanthan, so there were the step of hydration, melting, and I was putting the foam directly in the stand mixer while hot. But the crucial step was to use the piping in the bag right after, and the mixture was still hot. Otherwise, it was too sticky and the shape was not good in the plate. And here are the two other elements. So for my crumble, as I said, I used this fatty part. And this step was really quick because I used a bain-marie. And I added all the other compound I needed. So the flavors, the sugar, malic acid, and in this fatty part. And I just let it cool for 10 minutes. And the crucial part was adding the maltodextrin, because the ratio, I tried really different ratio to obtain the size of the pieces I needed and I wanted. And yeah, so that was the research process for this piece. And finally, for the golden dome, that was the only one using more than 1 degree Celsius temperature. But this step was really quick, so yeah, even though it was high temperature, it was quick, so it was not using that much energy. And yeah, just to mention other thing about those components, so I said I use combination of, for example, for the crème anglaise, I use a combination of kappa carrageenan and starch, and it was really interesting to use like different molecules because it was synergetic effects. So you can obtain like rigid gel while having soft gel with the starch. So it was really interesting to play with molecules in that sense. And the same thing with the foam. I use xanthane and gelatin, and not just one of them, because the gelatin brings the airy, while the xanthane brings like the stickiness. So you can play with this to have different kind of foam. And yeah, to finish with this, so here is kind of the introduction of the calculation you can make. And for example, without heat, so the nut-by-nut milk use 2 kilowatt, while the domestic oven use 4 kilowatt. So it's just an introduction because we don't play with we don't introduce the upstream valuation. So this is just an introduction of the calculation we can make, but it shows that the nut-by-nut reduce significantly the energy we use. And of course, the dish needs to be sustainable, but also good. So here is, I did a sensory analysis on 10 people, and I asked questions on appearance, texture, aroma, and what comes first is that the texture of the pudding was really appreciated, and also the appearance of this golden dome was really liked by the people, and overall 70% like this dish, lightly or very much, so it's a good introduction and it was a good result. So finally, I want to say that with this unplugged apple pie, I was able to create a dish that's a balance like innovation, but also a sense of familiarity in the aroma and the texture. And yeah, it was very interesting to deep into the concept of note by note, and I really enjoyed this experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I take the opportunity of discussing something. A question first. It was written manic acid. Malik? No, it was written manic. M-A-N. It's malic. Malic. Do you sell malic acid in Kitchen Lab? No, not malic. Okay, malic acid is wonderful. Now, bain-marie, of course, in Dublin, you could have used the sun because the energy would have been zero. No, it's a joke. Now, reproduction of crème anglaise, it's funny because perhaps you know about the Priestley. The Priestley is the idea of a crème anglaise I introduced decades ago, but you can make a crème anglaise of langoustine, a crème anglaise of beef, a crème anglaise of chicken, of anything. It's not a crème anglaise. Now we have the real question of the names, because crème anglaise is protected in a way like mayonnaise. You know, mayonnaise, the Codex Alimentarius requires more than 8% of egg yolk. So what we did was not a mayonnaise. It's an emulsion for sure, but not a mayonnaise. So it is not allowed to use the word crème anglaise or mayonnaise or something. You did not say that, so I was happy. There was no problem. But I was just using your presentation. It was very fun to discuss this kind of question. So now, if we introduce new products, we need new names. So this is, for example, Channel 5, or how do you call your dish, Pasquale, for example? One example. What are the names that you give? Ah, okay, this is a competition. So probably you describe the parts. Okay. 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 So this is an interesting question, how to name something that is completely new and you cannot use the old name. Now I'm very happy because I heard the word molecule. Indeed, it was a small mistake because she wanted to say compounds, but because a molecule is a small object and compound is a category of small object. But anyway, it's one of my hobby to be boring with my friends. Aroma as well. If you come to Paris in Master 2, you will learn that aroma is not the right word because the aroma is the odor of an aromatic plant. So for this dish, there was no aromatic plant, so there is not an aroma, it's an odor, and they are odorant compound. The same with texture. Texture is what you perceive, but the product has no texture, it has a consistency. Only the FIPDES students who come to Paris will have the explanation about that. So we will have time to discuss. No, but I was using your presentation because we are recorded and we are online. So there are people, and I'm using you to explain something. But anyway, congratulations. Really congratulations. And any question from the jury first? Yeah.
Why mango flavor in the pudding, in the crème anglaise?
It was vanilla, apple pie, and caramel only. There was no mango. So here is like the most detailed list. So in the crumble and crème anglaise, like crumble is vanilla, crème anglaise and pudding is the apple pie aroma. And then like to remain the caramel flavor, I add caramel in the foam and the golden dough. No, in the report, you mean? No, maybe it was a mistake. I didn't use a mango. Yeah.
It's recorded.
From your cream, you call it crème anglaise. My question is, what were you looking for as far as the consistency or final texture, if you want? Based on that, it's a two-part question actually. And then why did you use, based on your answer, it's going to be, what did you use kappa as well as cornstarch to make it? Because I have also done.
So for the crème anglaise, I wanted to obtain like the consistency, like more liquidy one. And I use kappa carrageenan and cornstarch because like the kappa carrageenan helped me to obtain like a rigid texture, while the cornstarch like soften it. So with the quantity, I was able to manage to have like the consistency I wanted to the pudding. And the interesting thing is that if you have kappa carrageenan and cornstarch in my base of crème anglaise, at one point at room temperature it gets thick, but only with wiping it, it brings back the consistency of the liquidy texture. Was it the... Oh, yeah. So I had more cornstarch than kappa carrageenan because I wanted it to be softer.
From the chef, yeah.
We didn't understand very well about the fruit texture. Because, can you explain, please? The fruit texture, where exactly the difference? There is foam, okay, in white point. There is the crème anglaise. Yes, it's not exactly liquid. And there is the apple pie. Can you explain the fruit texture exactly?
The crumble.
Yeah. So can I will just put back the... Okay, so there is the thing of texture, but also temperature, because the outer layer with the crème anglaise is liquid and it's served hot, so it brings the aspect of temperature. The crumble, it's not colored here, but it's not crunchy, but it's sandy, so it's balanced. The thing that the outer layer is really watery, and when you eat the crumble, it's melt in the mouth, so it was appreciated. And for the crunchy texture, so the dome bring the crunchiness, and that was what I was saying. I wanted to be eaten by a spoon. You can crack it, and it do small pieces in the dish. And so the point was to eat everything at the same time, so you at the same time get the watery and the soft texture of the crème anglaise and the pudding, the crunchy of the isomalt dome, and the sandy texture of the crumble.
So congratulations, thank you again. And we call now the next pre-selected competitor. I put where is it? The Volcano, here it is. Blandine Bouchelet de Vent de JS. JS? Vent de J. Okay, very good. So we say Blandine. For me, it's Hervé. Okay, Blandine.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to present you my dish for this Not by Not cooking contest. So, the fire eater with a heart of ice. So where did my idea come from? From the theme saving energy, I identified a global problem. So we have on one hand the access to energy, which is vital for any activity, transportation, business, etc. And on the other hand, we have the energy consumption, which is the main driver of climate change. So this problem cannot be addressed without looking to the side of the renewable energy, such as the geothermal energy. And why did I choose geothermal energy? Well, I just had to remember my childhood passion for volcanoes. So as you can see, I had this little chemical box to make volcanoes with vinegar and sodium bicarbonate. So my parents were very happy, little volcanoes exploding everywhere in the house. So I decided to make a dish with very frankly distinct yet complementing parts. So I wanted it to be, yes, very clear with a visual message, like an educational purpose on this topic of energy. So I wanted very bright and frank colors, and I wanted also a very complementary tastes and textures. So something, you will see there is something liquid, something solid, something ductile, just like the internal structure of the earth. So first I have the isolating gel. So isolating is also evocating the thermal transfers. So this part will be between a cold part and a hot part of the dish. So it's basically an agar-agar gelification with a bit of pectin to have more firmness. So it's just putting all the ingredients in the saucepan, then boiling for 2 minutes, and then letting coal on a plain surface. And then you can cut the gel into the shapes you want. Then I have the heart of ice. So the heart of ice is supposed to be like the magma inside the volcano. So I had to reconstitute the whole milk and the coconut milk to make an ice cream, and then I put it the taste of vanilla because I wanted it to be very soft, very comforting, to balance the other taste of the dish. And I put the color orange to imitate the magma. And yeah, it's supposed to be like the soft part of the dish. Then I have the crumble crust. So this is supposed to be like the crust of the earth. So it's gonna be above the gel, and the gel also is the I didn't say that, but it's bronze color to symbolize all the metals you can find in the earth also, because they are also a source of energy for us. So the crumble crust is just imitating a classical crumble recipe. I tried to gather all the compounds to imitate the flour in the crumble, and also the butter. So I have to reconstitute the butter first with water and butter powder, and then all the other powder ingredients, and then I put the butter inside to have this consistency of crumble. And it's non-cooked crumble. I had the initial idea of doing something solid that I would crush into particles for it to be very crispy, but I really wanted to lower the energy needed, so no oven, and I succeeded to have this texture without cooking. Then I have the viscous lava coulis. So I think it's a video here. I don't know if it's working. Anyway. So in a saucepan, I put the water to boil and sugar, and it was inspired from any fruit coulis. So I put pectin, malic acid inside. Malic acid was supposed to be part of a reaction also. That's why I put baking soda in the crumble and malic acid in the lava. Then I have to assemble the dish. So I cut the gel in the shapes I want to fill the pyramidal molds that I had. Then I can put the ice cream inside. I have to reserve 1 hour in the freezer. So then you obtain this kind of pyramid here, and then I have to fix the crumble around it. It was fixed by pressure with wet hand. And then I sprinkle a little bit of starch to imitate ashes on the top, and then I can add the lava on the top before eating the dish. So the final dish is here. I was very happy with the visual aspect of it because I had the clear colors, I had the layering effect, and I asked to survey people. They were also saying that it was really looking like a volcano 100%, so I was quite happy. And then concerning the taste, the preferred part was the ice cream. So the ice cream is very, very soft, vanilla, very comforting taste. And then you have the gel, which is a bit fresh with acidulous taste. And then you have the crumble, also very classical, comforting. And then you have the lava, which is with pepper and smoked paprika. So I really wanted it to be fire. It was not masking the other taste because it was like a hot aftertaste. So it was evoking the volcano, and the harder was the surprise because you were supposing there would be only fire and it was ice. So this project was really interesting. I really tried to put in application what our teachers gave us, any advice and notions of molecular gastronomy. I wanted to use simple reaction to really keep the message clear, and to have, yes, a dish which is telling something. So I think my objectives were achieved. Except, I would say, the chemical reaction between the malic acid and the baking soda, because I think I underestimate the quantity necessary for it. And yes, it was really like a creative challenge. I really liked it. So very interesting. And yeah, I just wanted to evocate the fact that our planet provides a lot, but is not eternal, so we have to take care of it if we don't want it to be iced like this volcano.
Very interesting as well. When I was seeing, I give you my comments. When I was seeing isolation, I was thinking of an experiment that I did a very long time ago. You whip an egg white, you put a thermocouple under it, on a bench, and you use a burner. The temperature of the burner is 1000 Celsius degree, but under the foam, you have 20 Celsius. Because the foams are very good isolating material, more than gels. So, because it's air, you know, when you have a double glass, it's very isolating. So I was thinking about that. Now, albumin is a very old word because albumin was used 2 centuries ago. Probably you would say proteins of egg white, would you? Protein? What is an albumin? Because, you know, albumin, since 1910, the word albumin is kept for a category of proteins that are small, hydrosoluble, coiled proteins. So albumin does not exist. You have, so probably it's egg white proteins. Okay, very good. So forget about albumin as a word. It's you could say albumins, but not albumin.
I took this category of proteins because I found that it was like 20%, I think, of the proteins in the wheat grain in the flour, except the gluten, of course. So that's why I have nothing against the product itself. I was just commenting the name for a good FIBDES engineer. We don't speak of albumin. Funny that again malic acid was used instead of tartaric or citric or anything. So, or succinic, nobody is using succinic acid. Succinic acid is incredible. So now a comment. This is very brave because I remember a dish at the name of the famous chef, Alex Atala in São Paulo. Alex Atala had a dessert, and this dessert included whiskey, chili, and I don't remember, and something bitter. And the guests were very angry because he was stealing the sweetness of a dessert. So indeed, it's brave to make such a thing because you're going in this direction. I heard that you had the vanilla; it was comforting and so on. But this is a phenomenon. This comment means that there is a phenomenon to be. Why were the guests so angry at Alex Atala? In generally, the ladies. At my table. It was very strange, very interesting. So you see, I keep this kind of ideas. Well, no whiskey in it, unfortunately, because for myself, I love this dessert by Alex Atala. Okay. Any question by the chef first, or the partners, or the group?
Just not exactly a question. It's very interesting. It's very nice. Just, I have a regret that there is not the smoke for a fourth dimension.
Yes, I wish I had more time to make more experiment with the different dilution of malic acid and baking soda because, yeah. The butter powder. What about the butter powder? I had to use fat compounds, and there was also cacao butter, some other fats that we could use. And I made several tries, and to the taste, it was really awful. And even the consistency with the cacao butter, it was like hardening with time, and then it was really awful. So I made many tries, and finally I preferred taste over per nut by nut. Yeah, and also like the sweetness of it, like it's very a soft taste compared to other fats that you just feel the fat, and the taste is not very pleasant. Here, the butter, you really have something comforting, really going well with vanilla, I think so.
Thank you, congratulations again. So now we invite Rine Krasniki. I'm not sure. Do you say?
Yes,
Are
it's
you?
correct.
Where are you, Rine? Ah, we don't see you. How
Can you
I?
see me now?
No, we see your PowerPoint, but I don't know what to do now.
I turned on my camera, so I'm not sure.
No, it's not.
Should I
No,
share the screen?
no, it's probably here. Perhaps I can. No, I cannot go this way. What can I do? I don't know. I don't know. So, first, recovering your PowerPoint. So it's Rine. Here it is.
I'm not sure if I share my screen, you can see also my
we hear you
camera.
correctly, but I cannot stop the sharing here. No, you will have to ask me. You will have to ask me how to do it. Ah, perhaps arrêter le partage. Yeah. Ah, we see you. So now
Okay.
you need to use your own PowerPoint for sharing.
I think you disabled, it says host disabled attendance sharing, screen sharing. So I'm not sure if I can. If you can allow me.
Now it should be open. For you.
Yeah, it is.
Very good.
Can you see my screen?
Now, yes. Can you say your name? So is it you say Raine?
Rina.
Rine.
Yes.
Where are you?
I'm in my home country, so I'm in Kosovo.
Okay, very good.
So hello to everyone. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person. I'm Rina Krasnici and I'm from Kosovo. I am from cohort 12 and today I'm going to share with you my node-by-node dish, Garden Essence, which I created for the this year's topic, which is saving energy in the kitchen. So basically the concept of this dish is to reduce the energy consumption and promote sustainability. And in a few minutes, I'm going to share more about the concept of this dish, the techniques and the methods that I use, the materials that I use for this dish, and also some results that I got from sensory analysis on the Dublin semester while being there. So before I start with the node by node, I'm going to be very quick here since I wanted to explain the node by node cooking, which Herb, Des, and Roisin already did. But for the ones that are new, I wanted to explain the concept that for the node by node, that it's mainly building dishes from the pure compounds like amino acids, lipids, molecular flavors, rather than using the whole foods like veggies, meat, or fruits. So it's introduced for the first time by her this. And where I wanted to stick more into is that node by node is focused more on sustainability and precision, which I wanted to stick more into also in my dish. So one of the greatest benefits is that you can be very precise. So what I mean about the precision is that you can use the exact amount of the ingredients that you need to achieve that texture, that structure, or that flavor that you want to create and minimize the waste. Also, node by node cooking supports energy efficient cooking methods. And in my dish, I use methods like cold preparation and low heat techniques to also support the topic of this year, which is saving energy in the kitchen. So to continue with the concept on and the objective of the dish, when I first started brainstorming about my dish, I was preparing my meal to go to university, and I realized that how much energy we use on a daily basis to prepare our meals. So I was so sure that I wanted to create a dish that in every step I should reduce the energy. And this one that you can see on your left is my dish. And I visually and conceptually wanted to represent the energy of nature and the garden essence, where I get my energy, with the elements like plants, soil, water, and flowers to incorporate that, which reminds us of the harmony in nature, and to incorporate that in my dish. So the project objective was to create an energy efficient, sustainable dish using techniques and zero waste approach to efficiently use all of the ingredients that I chose. So to break down the materials, I separated my dish into the parts of edible soy, sea foam, grass layer, and flowers. All of the materials that have been used for this dish were basic kitchen equipment. And for edible soil, I use coconut flour, cocoa powder, powdered sugar, and water. Basically, this creation of the edible soil was by mixing and moistening with water. The glass layer would I use malic acid, maltodextrin, seafoam, methylcellulose water, which I hydrated them, then whipped into the foam. Flours with agar-agar, sugar, dextrose, inulin, etc. So I used agar-agar and I chose all of my ingredients to be more sustainable. For example, I chose agar-agar, which has a lower which is a gelling agent, which uses less temperature to activate than the other gelling agents. So this is how I selected also my ingredients. This is pictures of during the kitchen trails that we had in Dublin, which I'm going to explain of the methods that I used. So the picture that you see, sorry for having a little bit less pictures since I have an accident with my last laptop and I couldn't get a lot of pictures. But this is a preparation of the grass layer, which was prepared without any heating. The grass layer was created by using the mixture of the ingredients which I mentioned before, and was stirred and set at a room temperature, avoiding any type of heating. So instead of using a stovetop or an oven for the edible soil, I chose a method that combined the mixing, which I combined by mixing coconut flour, cocoa powder, and powdered sugar. And they were simply moistened without the need of baking and cooking. So here I tried to save also more energy. And some other methods that I use were also the zero waste approach. So I repurposed any left ingredients to avoid the further cooking. I use natural setting or cooling to set the temp, for example, to the dish to set at the room temperature or in the refrigerator, which reduce the overall energy consumption during the preparation. And I use the approach of no wasted of ingredients by carefully measuring and utilizing all of the ingredients without discarding any excess. So since you cannot taste it, I also, while my semester in Dublin, did a sensory analysis and focused on the visual appeal, aroma, flavor integration, color, and texture, which I got a quite positive feedback. So the dish was perceived as fresh by the majority of the people who I got the answers from, and there were no unpleasant smells reported. So I could say that the results indicate that the dish was successfully an enjoyable sensory experience too. So base, to conclude, garden essence align with the theme of saving kitchen and then energy in the kitchen, used low energy methods like cold preparation and minimal heating, and also selected eco-friendly ingredients like coconut flour and agar-agar supporting zero waste goals. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer.
Thank you. Congratulations. And now, should I do a commentary? I don't know. No, yes, because I was thinking of the chef during the presentation. You know, the chef made the comment before, where is the crispiness, where is it hard, is it always soft or not? And indeed, you could ask the same question here, except that when you make a salad, for example, there is no crispiness, you have the salad, you have the tomato, and it can be good, no? So, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, on a salad, you can put something crispy on. There is no problem with a salad.
Okay. What would you put?
Something crispy, une tuile, quelque chose, une tuile de parmesan. Mais sorry, I don't speak well. Je sais pas comment tu dis une tuile de parmesan.
Tuile, parmigiano tuile. Okay. So, did you use some crispiness in your dish, René?
I would say that the only part crispy could be the edible soil, which was kind of more crispy texture when you tried it. But
yeah, there was the edible soil, crispy. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, a question by Yolanda.
Yeah. Did you think about?
Should be not Yolanda, by Yolanda Rigaud, biochemist and organizer of this contest. We have to be, no, this is a very strict event. We have to be strict.
Do you think about replacing the coconut powder, but some, I mean, note-to-note ingredient?
Coconut powder?
Yeah, you mentioned that you have, excuse me, coconut
I
flour.
use for,
Coconut flour.
edible
So, do you
coconut
think
flour,
about
yes.
replacing it by a note-to-note, more pure?
So I would say it was, since was available in the kitchen in Dublin, but also it was one of the purest compounds that we had. I used that, but I don't know. Maybe there isn't another ingredient that could be even more pure than coconut.
Yeah, I was thinking, why coconut? You know,
Could be.
but I suppose it's the flavor.
It actually, the coconut flour gave like a coconutty, even the smell of it, and the cocoa powder, and it looked like more a chocolatey perception in the end while you combined all of those ingredients together.
Okay.
By the way, the answer is interesting because you see, because she was using one ingredient, there was one other effect than the one she wanted. So indeed, when you can separate the effect, it's always easier. If you can have the consistency, the taste, the odor, the trigeminol, the calcium, and so on, then you can really separate. If you use a compound that is not bad, but you have the color at the same time, you cannot get rid of this color. So having pure note by note, for sure, not for all compounds. For example, ethanol has an odor, has a taste, has an effect on trigeminol, no color in this case. But yeah, so the pure note by note would be the best. Of course, it's not practically possible. So congratulations, Renier. Any other question by the jury? No?
Yeah.
Sorry, by someone? No? You don't like what? Personally? Okay, you don't like the...
I worked last 40 years ago with him. He was one of my masters. And I know that, I know this suggests, blue is not for us, generally, blue is not an alimentaire, a food color. Because in the nature, we don't have blue color.
Curaçao, what about Curaçao?
Only in French, blue Curaçao. In the war.
Yes, but blue Curaçao. Yeah. No, it's a colorant for sure, but do you like blue Curaçao? No? By the way, we don't care. A jury are a group of people that judge not from their own taste, they judge the result from a superior point of view.
Yes, there is the old generation with the like the blue, and there is a new generation. Sorry, I am here. Et je suis à la retraite. No, about the judge. For us, Chief, there is a dimension very important that is the art. The art, it is all our life. And we have question. We can't test with the dishes, so there is only the look and some question about the color and the, comment on dit la forme. Merci. We don't speak very good English also. So our main point are here. We know also that we judge about also the technique.
No, but this is what I said at the beginning. You know, the chef, it has to be a real dish that you eat really. And when you eat, you have the sight. For me, it's not important, but for you, it's important. I know that. The sight, the odor first, the antenasal odor. When you come by, the name is probably important as well. Then you put it in your mouth. You have again the odor from closer. Then you chew. You have the release of odorant again. They were more or less the same than before, but not exactly. Then you have the taste. Then you have the consistency. You have the temperature. The temperature is very important. For example, a chef near the Bon Marché in Paris was very smart. He was always using 3 ingredients and having a contrast. You know, the contrasts are more important. And this guy was making a cold soup with an ice cream. So it was cold and super cold. It was very clever. L'épi du pain, you know, this man. So indeed, all this makes a dish. This is what you judge. And of course, if it is, for me, the judgment is different because, for example, when there are alginate pearls, I say, oh, I've seen that already, so it's less original. But this is why we have a jury who is made of many different people. We have to take all the dimensions of the dish together in the evaluation. Okay, thank you. So, again, Jean-Pierre.
C'est aussi une question de culture. The kitchen, the food, is not only technical. It's also a great question of culture. On dit culture en anglais? Culture. And I think it was a problem when Hervé said that this chef had a problem for a dessert made with whiskey and du piment, c'était ça? And chili. Of course, in our culture, there is no chili in a dessert. Of course. So the culture also is important. I think that when you work in the future for your career, it's important to know that you prepare food, but on the culture, there is it's different today than yesterday, and in the future it will be also different, I know.
Thank you, René. Thank you very much. And now I have to share again. And now I have to share the screen. How do you make it? Sharing? Oh, I go to cheese on the rock. Kate, are you there? Kate?
Good morning. Yeah.
Kat?
Kate.
Kate?
Yes.
We don't hear you well. Can you fix that or not?
Sorry?
We don't hear you well.
Don't hear me well. Just turn my...
Okay. You have to use your own. Okay. Sorry, I stop sharing. You will share yourself. Okay, we see you now. Okay. Hi.
Okay. Good morning. Let me just share.
But your name is Kate Highland, is it?
Kate Highland, yes.
There is no Doherty in that.
No, Highland is my married name, so I used to be Doherty.
Okay, and can you share the screen now? Does it work? Yes, it should work.
We're all good.
You have to put it that full screen. Very good, very good.
That's okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready to go. Now, so good morning, everyone. My name is Kate, and I'm a student in the Culinary Innovation and Food Product Development Master's course at TU Dublin. So unfortunately, I can't be with you today in person, so I'm presenting online virtually from Ireland. But I do hope that I can visit Agro Paris Saclay campus sometime in the future. So today I will be presenting my dish Cheese on the Rocks, a renewable energy platter. I developed this dish in the Advanced Molecular Gastronomy module under the guidance of Dr. Roisin Burke and Pauline Danaher. So just to go through the inspiration behind the dish. So as you know, the theme for the project was energy, and we were tasked with creating a dish that represents our interpretation of it. So for me, the concept of renewable energy immediately came to mind. I am particularly interested in sustainable food practices and renewable energy. And with Ireland's focus on offshore wind farms initiatives, I thought it was the perfect inspiration for my dish. So with this in mind, I set out to create a dish that uses sustainable, locally sourced ingredients that are rooted within Irish tradition. And I wanted it to visually represent that of a windmill farm. So that's how Cheese on the Rocks came to be. So it's essentially a cheese board that combines all these ideas. And as well, a cheese board, it's something that's shared among friends and family during social gatherings. So it also ties into the theme of energy itself. So not only does it represent renewable energy, but it also represents and portrays the communal energy that we create when we share food and experiences with one another. Um, so just to talk you through, this is just a diagram of the final product. So there are 4 elements to the dish. Each element has a symbolic meaning. The Bramley apple brittle at the top, that represents the wing of a wind turbine. The smoky Iberico crumb, that represents the sea rocks. The cheddar cheese meringues, they represent the waves, so the sea waves crashing onto the rocks, and the sea bread crisps, that represents the sea. So together, all the components represent an offshore windmill farm. The dish itself, it's a bite-sized piece combining all the flavors of a traditional cheese board. So cheddar cheese, sourdough bread, and apples, they're all classic staples that represent Irish cuisine. Although Iberico ham is not native to Ireland, I chose to include it just to enhance the flavor profile of the dish. So the next few slides, I'll just go through how the method of each component. So to create the Bramley apple brittle, I used just 3 ingredients, isomalt, water, and a Bramley apple flavoring. That derives from the compound malic acid. Bramley apples themselves, they're known to have a high acidity. That's due to the malic acid content. So that gives them their distinct tangy sweet taste. So the method for making the brittle was quite straightforward. I combined all the 3 ingredients in a saucepan, brought it to the boil at 170 degrees Celsius. I let it cool to below 100 degrees. And then once it was cooled, I poured the mixture onto a greaseproof paper. And then with the back of a spoon, I spread it quite thinly onto the greaseproof paper. I allowed that to harden, and then once it hardened, I broke it into shards and was hoping that one of them would represent a windmill, which they did. So then the Iberico crumb, that was created by firstly blending olive oil with the Iberico flavoring and the smoky bacon flavoring. The compound oleic acid, that was responsible, it gives that rich nutty flavor in the Iberico flavoring. And then to enhance this, I decided to add the smoky bacon flavoring, that just gives like a distinct smoky woody taste, and that's due to the presence of the phenolic compound and guaiacol. So once these flavors were combined, I added in maltodextrin to achieve a crumbly, soft-like texture. Then I also added a drop of black food coloring that had the compound charcoal. I added this just to give the resemblance of rocks and just to enhance the overall look of the dish. So the cheddar cheese meringues, that was the method for this, is a bit more complex. I used sugar in the form of ultraline savory sugar. Egg white powder was incorporated to, I wanted to incorporate an albumin protein, and then I needed a fat replacement. So the fat replacement was in the form of xanthan gum. These were mixed together with water and a cheese flavoring pure compound. I whipped this mixture in a Thermomix for 5 minutes. I then transferred it into a KitchenAid and whipped it for another 3 minutes. So at this part of the process, that disrupts the bonds in the egg white protein, creating a foam. And then with the that was stabilized because of the presence of the sugar and the fat elements and formed a light meringue. So I then piped the meringue onto a silicone mat in small coin-sized circles. I sprinkled on a bit of cheddar cheese powder and just to enhance the overall flavor. And the meringues were then baked at 100 degrees Celsius for 60 minutes. So the sea bread crisp, I used kuzu starch and potato starch as the main ingredients. These were combined with water and heated until melted together. I then poured the mixture into dome-shaped molds and added a small amount of a blue food coloring to give a vibrant and appealing look. That mixture was baked at 120 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. And as it baked, the starches dried out, forming a crispy, light, but sort of chewy texture. The starches themselves, they are flavorless, so I brushed the crisps with a mixture of baked bread, herbaceous and rosemary flavoring. And because the flavorings are oil-based, it allowed the starchy crisps to easily absorb the oil, so it allowed the flavors to fully infuse. Although I'm not entirely sure of the pure compounds in the baked bread flavoring, the flavoring was from the MSK brand, but I know that maltol and isomaltol, they're responsible to give that nice aroma of the bread and the bread crust. And then the addition of the herbaceous and rosemary flavoring gave the crisps a unique flavor and just a nicer aftertaste. So just to conclude, Cheese on the Rocks is a visually appealing and flavorful dish that embodies the theme of both renewable energy and energy. The sensory evaluations from my classmates highlighted its strength in appearance, colour and flavouring. I suppose for future research, I would like to focus on refining the texture and the taste of each component a little bit more. I do find the preparation of this dish to be kind of challenging at sometimes. I don't have a culinary background, so at times it was a bit challenging. But what I would say is that I did really enjoy the experience. And note by note cooking, it made me sort of look beyond the traditional methods of cooking and open my eyes to the possibilities that note by note cooking really brings. And then just to end this presentation, I just want to say that I'm very grateful to have been chosen as a finalist for this competition, and well done to all the finalists today. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the event. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Now the question from the jury. Are you ready for questions? There is some blue color, said Pierre-Dominique Cessillon. Okay. But you love the sea, by the way, because you're living near the seashore. And and the sky. Look, the sky is blue. Huh?
First of all, congratulations. Then it's more of a free tip from a culinary point of view that I usually give in my masterclass. This is free for everyone listening, including yourself. Congratulations. I like your bread idea. The only thing, everything you use as far as flavoring has a greenish, in the actual world, is more green undertones. So to use blue just for blue makes no sense. It's actually useless. But keep in mind, I am an award-winning chef, new generation, and I have zero problem with blue. The only thing that I'm giving you as far as information is to simply make a link with the color and the taste and flavor that you're looking for. So here, in my opinion, if you would have made it slightly green, it would have been accepted 99% of the time by anyone. But because it's blue, you get lost.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah. Congratulations. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do feel that it's the dish. It's quite unusual. The blue, if I was to get that in a restaurant, I'd be a bit kind of skeptical as to what it actually is. But thanks very much for your recommendations. And yeah, if I do have the chance for further development, I will take that on board.
By the way, Kate, you should know that in the beginning of this event today, I was discussing with him about the question of competition that he's making. And he was telling me that the jury were completely reluctant to note by note. I mean, the ordinary jury are entirely reluctant to note by note cooking. I mean, at the level of Bocuse d'Or and so on, which means that sometime, for me, the blue has absolutely no problem. I love what you did. But I know that in view of a competition, then sometimes you have to take care of the jury, which is not what we should do. But when you have a restaurant, of course, you have to take care of the guest. Now I give you an idea because it is something to do with salt. I said that to the 12 course already, but it's a very interesting idea. I met Pierre Gagnère once, best chef of the world probably, and I was asking him, how do you manage to have the salt correctly, the amount of salt that is correct for anyone? Because some people come into your restaurant, they like salt, the others don't, so how do you do? And the answer was, Hervé, you're not right, it's not a cursor, it's not blue or green or something. The question is to create a score for an orchestra. And nobody will ask you more violence or more trumpet because it's an offer that you make, it's a creation, and you cannot change the color, you cannot change the sweetness, you cannot change the acidity. It should be composed. Of course, at our level, I mean, I put yourself as the same culinary level as myself, which is probably not right, but I'm not able to do that. Personally, I cook for a very long time. I'm not so bad. Not so bad. Jean-Pierre, would you say I'm bad in cooking or completely bad or not so bad? Sometimes very bad. Okay, so I'm not so bad because it's not always very bad. But at our level, we are not able to do that. And this is why, for the food industry, we need the top artists to make it because they will be able to put some blue. Some real good artist will be able, and he will be able to make some blue even for Pierre-Dominique Cessillon, which is incredible. Huh? Okay. Any other question? So thank you, Pascal. You're right. It's a very important question. Another comment from someone? No. Another one? Another question? The jury? No. Roisin? Happy with that? Okay. So thank you, Kate, again. So now it's time in the agenda for the next step, and the next step, I don't remember what it is, but I will find it soon. The next step. So we are on time, 11:30. So congratulations to all the competitors because they were. They know very well that 10 minutes mean 10 slides, plus the discussion 5 minutes. Now we will have the presentation of product by Daoun Nguyen and Pascal Altamonte. You have a table here. We can move it. You will take the microphone, so we have 15 minutes or 15 minutes about so again the presentation if you arrived not at the beginning. So Daoun Nguyen is a biochemist in Geneva. Pasquale Altomonte is a former engineer and turned into a chef, a very successful chef. They were winners of this contest in the past many times. First with phenols from wine to make something really good. Then again later about the reproduction of the duck à l'orange. Probably another time. They published a chapter in the Handbook of Molecular Gastronomy. One or two, I don't remember. How many chapters did you make in the handbook? One chapter. Pasquale is very often making competition, culinary competition, and they created this company, Kitchen Lab, to sell this kind of compounds. They will explain. And now I leave the floor to them. You need the microphone? Okay.
Yeah. So hello, we are Kitchen Lab Food. We are a couple in real life too. He's cooking. He's doing a lot of cooking contests, and he was training me. I was like a student from the pharmacy world. I didn't know how to cook at all. I was really, really bad. And he trained me a lot, and I was interested by chemistry and food, like most of you. And thanks to Hervétis, we met and we did a lot of cooking together. So I was had the opportunity to be in a part of MasterChef and some TV shows. And today we are presenting
Energy.
So we want to provoke a little bit because we're in the future. So we're doing with insects and notes with chocolate. So I give you a microphone. Maybe you can explain more about what we can do and create maybe ideas for next year for the next contest.
You want to give me the microphone? Okay. All right. So basically, the theme was energy, right? So, okay. So you want to save energy, and everybody has to eat protein on a daily basis. So if we think about the future, we see that everything is becoming more and more expensive, and time is money, renewable energy, so on and so forth. And with the prices of beef and fish, we see that things are kind of dwindling down. When you know how much energy it takes to produce a kilo of beef, for instance, it's astronomical. So we and myself, I'm developing a few recipes, and I'm collaborating with a few different companies right now on the theme of energy and protein, and what costs the least amount of money and energy and produce a high amount of protein are insects. So here we have different types of insects that you can try if you're willing to go through the psychological barriers that it takes to eat this sort of food. To reassure you, they are all organically produced here in Europe. Some are from Switzerland, Belgium, and Germany. These are the 3 countries that produce them right now that I work with. And to make it more palatable for you, we have chocolate that most people like, chocolate and hazelnut flavor. That, we're not making any, you're not supposed to say that, but but anyhow, you could make that yourself, by the way. And then we also have nuts, just to change your taste when you go from one insect to the other. You will see that they have very different flavor, taste, textures, as you see. And then the cool thing is that when Note by Note comes into play, this is what I say usually, it's really tailor-made food. So not only as far as tastes, flavors is concerned, but everything, even from a health point of view. I've worked with many hospitals locally in Geneva where I live to develop recipes for cancer patients that lose taste buds or brain cancers that affect the taste buds. So and the chefs had difficulties boosting tastes, flavors, and textures so that their patients would regain a good eating habit because they lose appetite. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. And as a former engineer, for me, I'll always be an engineer. I have to know and I have to understand why everything and how everything works, so on and so forth. So basically, mechanical and civil, if you guys are interested. But anyhow, so this is the goal today, just to, it's a thought-provoking tasting. And I'm going to walk around and at the same time have you taste. You can, if you have any questions, now, later, we're open for that.
So we have some notes you can smell. I think some of you knows already. So there's 3 note samples. So one is cucumber, and the one is like fresh grass, and the third one is popcorn. Then here you have 3 kind of insect. You have a ver de farine. I don't know how to call it in English. How do you call it? Ver de farine. It's a small, very small one. It's dry. So it's boiled first, then it's dry, and then it's crispy. Then you have a second one is the grillon.
And they're boiled, then dehydrated. So as far as energy is concerned, it's nothing. I mean, it's really. The
And
consumption of
then
energy.
you have the third one is the bigger one. It's a, how you call it? A grasshopper. Grasshopper, and it's crispy. Then you can pick with chocolate. So, and we also have like nuts. So there is the regular nuts. So when most of the time you eat regular nuts, put with chocolate, you eat, there's no problem. You do the same with the insect, it has the same taste. So if you don't look at it, it's really the same. So we made here so you can see it. And then if you want to add some notes, some other, like odorant compound, you can also add it with popcorn and all that.
Rancid, but I'm supposed to say something about the fat thing. All right, so the smaller ones, which I don't remember the name in English or any other language, that the grillon, it's a baby grasshopper if you prefer, are more nutty flavored. The grasshopper has a more pungent, fatty flavor, almost when you have aged beef, like almost rancid. It depends on your palate. And then the mealworms are, for me, tasteless, but interesting, just because of their source of protein, and then it just adds a little crunch.
So it's really crunchy, look. Here?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go and, they're gonna hear me.
So I don't know if you have any question about this new food.
By the way, the question of there is a microphone open. Does someone? No. This one is closed. Where is it closed? Let's close it. No, not this one. Who has a microphone open, please? Perhaps Kate. Is I speak now? Now. No. Now I come back to the discussion about insects. You have to know that about insects, some big companies in the world now are growing insects in order to extract protein from it. So indeed, insects are probably not the future, but the protein extracted from the insect are very important. And then when you have the protein from insect, you can make not-by-not cooking. So for sure, you can play for insects. It's slightly provoking or funny, but the companies are producing tons of powders of proteins from insects. Because if you cultivate pulses are plants producing proteins, then you extract the starch, you extract the protein from pulses, and then you give the residue to insects that produce protein. So indeed, you produce protein twice. And remember that 20% of your body are proteins, so we need protein in the future, as today. Okay?
So we try to do only note-by-note cooking, and it's quite still too difficult for people to be attracted by that. So now we also add something else, like this time it's the insects. We did that in Geneva with caviar, because people like, oh, caviar, foie gras, it's awesome, it's good food, all that. So when you do caviar with a form of note-by-note, people can accept, even old chef, because most of the problem is the old chef. There's like, no, I need to see the piece of meat, the piece of fish, unless it's not real food. So when you add real food plus note by note, it's okay. But for Bocuse d'Or, Pasquale did a meal like with less fresh animals, and then they didn't like it. So that's this experience.
A funny observation by Dao. Last year, there was a test with no insect, and nobody wanted to taste the product. And this year, with the insect, you like it and you make the test, which is incredible. So the insects are traditional in a way, which is true for Mexico City or something. Some countries already insects. By the way, about the discussion about chili and chocolate are famous in Mexico or in some countries like this. So it's traditional in these countries. Okay. What can we do? We can now invite the jury to deliberate. Perhaps where do you want at the back of the room? No, the jury will. I mean, they will be silent. Don't worry. Dao, would you like to make some comment about Kitchen Lab now?
Yes, thank you. So we are Kitchen Lab Food. We're creating, Pasquale mostly do a lot of MasterChef. He's coaching students for contest. He participating to a lot of contests too, culinary contests. And if you're interested to exchange, we do it for like really easily. If for next year you would like to have some ideas to create and to win the next Note by Note contest, don't hesitate to contact us. We have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of recipes, and we do a lot of experiments. He's doing a lot of experiments on food experiences, so really don't hesitate. We are selling a lot of the cooking notes, which is the notes that you can taste.
If you have any questions, I don't know if there's still a few minutes. If someone has any questions, either now or later, we're up for questions. And if you don't have them now, you can always email us your questions later, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. No problem. Oh, yeah, we have business cards.
There's some more, yes?
Sure, absolutely. The big ones? Yeah, the big ones.
Il demande plus d'insectes et plus de notes.
Perhaps we can describe the notes, because for the master ones they don't know, and the public online as well. Can you explain what you have, what you intend to do?
So for the ones that are here, you tasted already that I actually put a couple of drops of the popcorn into the chocolate, and you can see that it changes everything completely.
What is the chemical name of this popcorn compound?
That one I forget right now. I'm not the best one for that. Do you remember the compound?
Sorry, I don't remember.
You're bad too.
It's a long chemical name I don't remember, sorry.
You don't remember? No, I don't. Okay, but that could be all. We can also communicate on those if you have the questions. We have that, of course. We're 100% transparent, so all the notes that we use and that you use if you're at the University of Dublin, they have all the proper names for the notes.
What is the price of one bottle now?
The price now was 20. It was 20.
Okay. And how many notes do you have?
At the moment, we are doing 15. We have 15 notes that we're playing with. Obviously, the panel is limitless. You literally have, yeah. But for the time being, we're only doing 15.
Sorry, I made a correction. It's not limitless. The number of odor in food has been shown to be about 10,000. But it's a large, yeah. Perhaps also, I know that a friend of mine who is a perfumer is online. Now, generally, in the flavoring industry, when they make a flavoring, for example, someone used apple tart, generally you use between 7 and maximum 11 different compounds. But very often, when you have two, you already have a big new thing. For example, when you have a raspberry plus orange flower, you create wild raspberries, wild strawberries. Or when you have coffee and pastis, you create licorice. So there are the mixture, very simple mixture, can create a lot of new results.
Yes, Hervé is totally right. For the limitless part, I was just referring to the limited palette that we have, unfortunately. it's that. But do you guys have anything that you would like to ask or any tips? Yes?
I have a question about the isolation process. So which process do you mainly use to extract the odors?
So there's different ways. What I do is I give other chefs also ideas. If they don't have a vapor machine, like a rotovapor, which I think you have in Dublin, some of them don't have the space or the money or the time. They don't want to learn. Well, I mean, whatever. So that's one of the nice ways to capture, if you prefer, the kind of flavor, or you can extract it. Then you have a bunch of different ways. But then I show them how to do it from a very barbaric way. So you can just take kind of like a double steamer and make it at home yourself. And as long as you cover it, then when the steam goes up, it doesn't go out of your dish. It encapsulates. It's not the same. It will never be the same. But they have a small essence of what's capable of doing when you're having real scientific equipment like you guys and we have.
But you know, I will answer differently. If you want to create an odorant compound like this, sorry. Okay. If you want to create an odorant compound like this, myself, when I began in probably 1987, what I did, I ordered to Sigma Aldrich a bottle, for example, of 1,6-hexanol, pure. When you go to Sigma Aldrich or this kind of company, you have two catalogs. You should choose the food grade catalog, FG. Okay, so you buy it. Probably a bottle of pure hexanol costs 10 euros or 15 euros. I don't remember. And then with that, you have to make a dilution to the thousandths of a billion. So with one drop, you can make liters and liters of a solution like this. And indeed, very frequently, these compounds are either synthesized chemically, and they have to be pure, and they are pure. The purity is written on the bottle. Or sometimes, for example, for limonene, the limonene that is sold pure by Sigma Aldrich is extracted by pressing the orange skin only. You know, when you press the skin of an orange, you have a... And this is almost pure limonene. So then later, if you purify, you have the bottle. And in my lab, if you ask me, I will show you the bottle of limonene, pure limonene. It's big like this. It is 5 liters, and the price was 20 euros. And indeed, what you pay when you buy such compound is not the chemical product, because the chemical product, the quantity is tiny. What you pay is the making the right solution in the right solvent, because in the former round it was in oil, but oil can get rancid. In this case, you don't have the rancidity, so it was an improvement. So you pay the bottle, the blue bottle, for important for the light. Then you pay the compound, teeny thousands of euro, and you pay the intelligence of making the right dilution so that the chef can use it. You see? Many of them are organic, by the way. So most of them, probably. Most of them. They are organic compounds. And if you are in a restaurant and you use these products, you can advertise that you are doing organic. So very interesting. Other question, Giulio, no?
Because I was particularly interested in the rain scent. So rotovapor could be used like for food, but for this soil scent, how did you manage to get it? Okay, it's a secret. I get it.
A simple way. If you wanted to do that yourself, a simplified way, which will be much less potent, but could work. It will work. Not could. It will work. Is you simply grow a patch of grass that could be organically controlled with what you put into it. Then once you water it and you put the right temperature, you're going to recreate that atmosphere and that scent. You clip your grass cuttings at that moment, and that's where you can infuse those blades of grass that are a little bit wet into whatever you want. I've done different processes, so you can infuse it in oil, so you'll have a different texture, a different taste. Everything will change. You can steep it in water. Everything is different, but everything is linked at the same time. That's why I don't like to limit myself just to one thing. When you have the technique and the know-how, play with it. That's all I can say. Then I have a lot of demonstrations that I could do a bunch of demonstrations, but this is not the goal today. So my answers are short and concise, but then we can always chat more, and I can develop more. Because you can also use a distillation process, which will change again. You will have less. In fact, the flavor and taste will come in the background. You'll have more of the olfactiveness, so everything that's nasal. When you put it in your mouth, you won't taste much at the beginning, but it will come towards the end. So it's much different than these notes you have here. You have it right away. And when you use the other processes, then it changes the characteristics of when you put it in your mouth or when you smell it. Does that make sense? Thank you. I think they like the insects.
Okay. In the meantime, because the jury is not finished, I wanted to make some comment because I was very fast about this picture. You see, at the FIBDES Day, we had one director of Savienza. They are making cheese and something, and they are making in particular surimi. This dish is a surimi of surimi. So it was done by students, by the way, by students of ITHQ in Montreal. So they are culinary students working with a chef, and there was one scientist working with them. So it's a surimi of surimi. So you have the protein. If you want to make surimi, it's very easy. You take the protein, you take water, you put a little starch on it, probably some fat. You make a layer in your plate, and with a spoon, you scratch it, and you cook in the microwave oven or steam oven, and you get a surimi. Then you roll it. You put some color, and you have the surimi that is sold in the supermarket. And surimi is a big success commercially. And the proof is that it is sold in the supermarket. When it is sold, it means that it is a success. Otherwise, these people won't sell it. Okay? So making it blue, so Pierre-Dominique Cessillon will not be happy because there was some blue color. In this one, there was the odor of the cucumber. The next one was about, this was soft, so probably this one would have been rejected by the jury because it was soft and soft and soft. I don't agree with them because very frequently I want something soft if there is some contrast in softness. So I'm not sure. The rule of putting some crispiness is fine, but it's too easy, I would say. What else? This one. This one was served in Tokyo and in front of the Japanese journalists of Japan. All of them were there. So they had to taste in front of a big audience and they had to describe. And the main gastronomic journalist said, wow, it's very, very good. It is not exactly my sushi, but he was very happy with the consistency. Generally the Japanese put some vinegar in their rice, and there was a flavor in it. So the rice is quite, it's rice. But it was like the flavor. It was very easy. You needed a siphon to make it. So if you participate next year, use a siphon. With a siphon, you can make the objects. When you pop, 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 you have like rice. Okay. What else? The next one was about Andrea Camastra. It is a funny story. Andrea Camastra is a chef in Poland. He's probably the first, second, or third chef of Poland. He has probably 2 stars at the Michelin Guide. Andrea Camastra was doing molecular cooking in the past. So he was very famous for molecular cooking, so rotary evaporator, liquid nitrogen, and so on. And when I explained him note-by-note cooking, immediately he decided to change his restaurant and to move to full note-by-note cooking. So it's very exciting. He is very successful. The guy is intellectually strong. It took him 2 weeks to design a menu. I have a lot of pictures that he's sending by WhatsApp, but be sure that Andrea Camastra is working hard. Nowadays, after the COVID, he had to create another restaurant, and the name of the restaurant is Nuta. Nuta, like note by note. Okay. So if you go to Warsaw, stop at Andrea Camastra. It should be quite expensive, probably, but it was very good. He's a very good chef. Now, what about... I wanted to come back to the Greek. The Greek dishes, it was a full dinner. I only have one picture here. The Greek dinner had the flavor of Greek cooking. You know, in Greek cooking, you have octopus, you have tomatoes, you have, I don't know, hummus, all these things. And there is a specific Greek flavor. And they were able to make the note-by-note dish with the Greek flavor. Not exactly the same, but the same kind of flavor. I see in the meantime some caps with kitchen. I guess that it will be part of the prizes. Are they? Okay. So what are you giving to the competitors? I have to tell you, the diploma will be sent by post. The prize by Louis François as well, but here we have the prize from Kitchen Lab.
Yes, so for the participants, we have cooking notes, we have the apron like this one, and the cap. So all the best for the winners. And for next year, really, we invite you to do the contest. There's more gifts to give, so it's really cool to participate.
Have fun. And you have our contact. Never hesitate to ask us a question. Seriously, if we can help you guys somehow with a tip or an experience, don't hesitate. As long as you're within the guidelines of the school, of course, because we won't do the dish for you. Because
by the way, now can you please give your contact to the people online? We have to show that in front of the... Yes. Here it is. I will show you that in... no, the camera. Where is the camera? No, here, probably. Here it is. So, no, Kitchen Lab, this way. Well, it's inverted, I don't know. No. Well, yeah, you say.
So if you would like to contact us, or if you take pictures, or if you put anything on the social media, if you use Instagram, put the hashtag kitchenlab_food, kitchenlab_food on Instagram is us. The website is www.kitchenlabfood in one word.com. kitchenlabfood.com. And then you have our info. You can contact us by Instagram, email. From the website, you'll find us.
That's it.
Thank you to you. Thank you for listening and trying. We're really happy and proud that you ate. We thought that we would come back to Geneva with all the insects. So we're really, really happy to see that you ate the insect and you tried the notes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we will move to something that I forgot entirely. We have to decide for next year topic. So who has a proposal? Yeah. So there is already one. So there is already one. Dao, you proposed childhood memory. Yes. It was one childhood memory. I propose mussels and oysters. Why no? Oh. Again, I will not succeed. Say it again.
Yes, for the childhood memories, the idea is to do a dish that reminds you a childhood dish, but in a note-by-note version, obviously.
But this is already what they did. Look at Giulio. He was doing what he had in mind, and she was doing the lava, the volcano, like when she was... okay.
Another one, more provocating for the old chef, like colors in harmony.
Okay, colors in harmony. It's a question of color. We discussed a lot about color. Another one?
Textures in balance, because you have to play with textures. We saw a lot of jellies in the dishes, so texture is very difficult. It's one of the main things to create that is not easy, especially with note by note, with synthetic food. So it could be a theme or...
So texture in balance. Texture in balance. But this is already what you did. Oh, no. Another one. Flavor of the world. Oh. Obviously, it will be flavor. Another one.
No, that's it.
That's all. Okay. So any proposal by you? Sorry? Why no? Insects. But to create note by note insects, it would be so funny. Yeah, because it has no flavor. It's only crispiness. But playing with chitin, insects like mushroom and like shrimps, for example, they are very special living animals because generally you have starch, but if you take this is a funny experiment that you can make. You take one shrimp, you take out the flesh, and you keep only the shell. And then you put the shell into vinegar. The calcium carbonate will be dissolved, and you will keep a soft leaf, which is almost pure chitin. Chitin is incredible because it is generally the biopolymers are positively charged, and this one is negatively. So they have the reverse, and you can make very bioactive ingredients. So chitin is incredible, and you have it only in mushroom shells and the next one. What did I say? Mushroom shells. Sorry, insect. An insect. So it's very exciting. Yeah. We have the chef now. So you have a proposal? What about an art form like music? Music? Oh, yes. Very good. It's a good idea. Music. Remember Shakespeare. Shakespeare said, William Shakespeare, if music be the food of love, play on. Yeah. Music? Yeah. Another proposal? Let's take time. We are not in a hurry, but we need to within 1 week. Okay, 1 week. So you can please send as many proposals as possible. Be creative. Okay, and even online, the people online they can be creative. And now we need to stop the PowerPoint and to get the chef. So how do I do? So the chef, I invite the chef to come on stage. How can I get the chef. The chef, please, can you come? Are you ready? Very good. No, all the chefs have to be there. They were seated all time long. I was standing up and so on, moving. The chef. Pierre-Dominique Cessillon, Eric Sanchez, Jean-Pierre Lepelletier. We need the jury. Yolanda, we need you. Okay. Roshin, you have to come because you are an organizer. Yeah, you're an organizer, you're not the jury. But so now we need someone to announce who is announcing. Who is the president of the jury? Okay.
Président, c'est moi. Enjoy to know that. Mais qu'est-ce que je dis là? Les résultats? Non. Ouais, d'accord.
We decided in the meantime that the 5 selected competitors will be invited to publish their recipe in the International Journal of Molecular Gastronomy. So congratulations first to them. By the way, don't upload too much because, ask Dianada last year. She had to exchange with reviewers because it will be reviewed, peer reviewed. So when you write, for example, malic acid, don't put any capital because it's a common name. It's not. So you see, what should I do with that? No, no. He was promoting his journal. Okay, it's the journal of the International Club Les Toques Blanches. Are you going to offer the journal to the winners?
We can, but we have only one.
Okay, no, but you can send it by post.
By post, yes.
By post, okay, very good. Of course, in the journal you will find something very interesting, but rather at the end because it's an article of mine every issue. So now we need.
Yes, for everybody who want to receive the review, we give to me your address, and Putain, mais c'est quoi ça? Résultat. So. C'est bon là? Ouais. So the fourth, quatrième, c'est ça comme ça on dit? Fourth? Yes, but four are ex aequo. Yeah. No. The fourth, in the fourth position. Alors attends. Charlotte Delattre with the apple pie. She get 16 points for the theme, 8 points for the texture, 6 points for the heart. And Kate Island with the cheese on the rock. She win with 7 points for the theme, 10 points for the texture, and 13 points for the heart. In the third position, Rima with the garden Rine. For the garden essence with 7 points for the theme, 10 points for the texture, and 15 points for the heart. In the second position, second prize. Alors attends, Rolio. Rolio from Mexico, Rolio Garcia. For the dessert, with 10 points for the theme, 12 points for the texture, and 12 points for the heart. So, the first position, the winner is Blandine Bauchelet for the volcano. 14 points for the team, 14 points for the teacher, and 40 points for the heart. Thank you.
Be known all over the world. So congratulations for all of them. Because, by the way, I could attend the deliberation. I get an ear on that. It was very difficult, but it is very difficult. Probably there is a matter of taste. You know, they give the feeling that they have criteria, they have slot consistency and so on. But indeed, it's personal appreciation mostly. How do you answer to my criticism that when you evaluate, it is also personal?
Yes, of course. Of course, every evaluation is personal. So, but we try to forget that maybe, by example, if I don't like the blue, I don't judge with that because it's only me. But yes, it was in general. It was very interesting, with some surprise sometimes. It was a good un concours. On dit comment là? Contest. It was a good contest, sure.
With all my friends. The oldest and the youngest. Very good, very good. No, first of all, I have to congratulate the competitors. Then I have to thank the jury, because year after year they come, and I appreciate very much, you know. Jean-Pierre, Pierre-Dominique, and the Toque Blanche in general are helping us for a very long time. Very, very long time. Probably, Pierre-Dominique, you invited me in 2000, probably, or something like this. We were at the Georges V at that time. Okay, very long time. And since that time, they support all these initiatives. So, you know, it's good to have friends. You know that with these kind of people, you know that when you have a problem, you can always rely on that. And they make more than in science and technology. They are close friends, and they can imagine that Jean-Pierre in a restaurant would have a problem one night. Immediately, Pierre-Dominique would come. And this is exceptional. We don't have that in science and technology, and we should create this kind. You can do that with FIBDA. FIBDA is very important. You have to take this tool in order to make it that you can rely on one another, not only in your court, but only in most courts, okay? Now, a short comment, because I was in the board of FIBDES on Tuesday or Thursday, I don't remember, and there was a comment by students, it was a strange comment of the FIBDA. One said, okay, we don't want project, we prefer classes. Wow! I was upset because generally students prefer projects. So this was the first time that students prefer classes instead of projects as a project. Some of them said, oh, not by note, why not? But, you know, it's not so interesting. It is very exciting. So you would never have that elsewhere in the world. So I'm not selling it. I don't care because it's not science. But I was surprised by this comment, for sure. Huh? What else? I appreciate very much the way it is an improvement. The FIBDA students, all of you, for the first year, it was much more professional, your report. And I appreciate that a lot. It was, you know, the way it was done, the way it was structured, it was a real improvement. Yeah, it will be fine. So, and now I was also able to recognize publicly that it was asked to make 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes. This is professional. So congratulations, all of you, even if you were not pre-selected, because all the reports were very, very difficult to judge. So I was making my table. I was putting crosses each time one of us was saying, oh, I like these 5 ones, and then I made the total. This was the way it was done. So it was fair. I should say that Patrick Terrien, a chef, he was the chef of the Cordon Bleu Institute, was one to judge. He could not participate today. I say hello to my friends in Louis François. Kelly T, he's online. Sandrine could not come today because she was in Belgium or something. And thank you for your participation. Do well. Let's use our emails. We are friends. And if you want to upload very, very loudly for the winners, the competitors, and the jury. It's done. And now you will have probably your lunch plus the graduation ceremony. The prices. Did you give the price? Yes. The prices will be sent by. So some of them were given, and some others will come by post. Okay.
I would say that
we need a post address.
And you will have a diplomas as well that I will send it by mail to you with the signature of all of us.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know if it took a good picture.
Oh, it should be right.
Okay.
No, it's the other way.
I have one here, but it's not good.
Oh, yeah, many. Thank you very much.